Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you how to easily beat Gnoster Wisdom of the Night, or the Sentient Pest boss in Elden Ring Nightreign. This boss has two different enemies we'll be facing off against: this larger lobster with slow telegraphed attacks, or the Moth, which will fly around firing ranged spells at us. So at the start I would recommend having two people focus on the lobster and one on the Moth just to keep it away from your team. It's best to separate these as much as possible due to them both having a large area of effect. Now the lobster will harden up, you can still damage it, but that's a trap, don't do that. You want to go and switch aggro over to the Moth. The Moth does move around quite a bit, so it pays to have a longer range spell like the one that I'm using there. Any type of spell casting that comes out quick is going to work well. I would advise against using any spells that may take a bit of time to move to their target because it moves around in a large area. So I would recommend just trying to chase it down and using those quicker to fire off attacks. And the lobster will wake back up. It does that large area of effect roar, which will take out roughly half your health bar, so you do want to avoid it as much as possible. If you can have one person then aggro it and then go both attack the Moth, just being mindful the lobster will come over and slam its legs down at you, although the attacks are pretty well telegraphed. Now I'm just using the America's Hammer weapon there. You use what you can get, obviously, in an expedition. I was mostly using the fire damage for my dagger, and I was actually the only one that had a fire damage weapon, but we did have someone that had bleed with the attack there, and this boss can bleed, so that helps quite a bit. And then also they were spellcasting fire, so it worked out that we had a little bit of damage from each of the characters. This boss does have a very large health pool. You can see there again that roar attack that it does is really damaging. And it'll also do this beam attack, so you can see that there's a glowing area on the ground. Avoid that as much as you can because it's going to do large damage over time, and it can get you when you're reviving teammates, so just be mindful of that. Now it will harden up again there, so it's sometimes best to try and disengage and try to play defensively a bit more. Like here you saw there, the Moth flies up and shoots at you while it dives towards you, and then the beams come down. So that's an attack that starts to happen at around the half phase here. But mostly positioning is going to be your best friend, and if you can stagger the boss, that works very well too. Jump attacks do work pretty great. Obviously throwing down warming stones is also a nice strategy, but just be mindful. Again, poison is in a lot of different areas, so you're going to be wanting to move constantly during this fight and just try to set up proper positioning as well. Due to the lobster having these very well telegraphed attacks, you can see when it starts to aggro on a teammate, like that was the executioner there, and that's kind of a good one to aggro onto, but you have to watch out for this attack here where it rushes forwards. If you're Iron Eye, you can dodge that really easily, and I think I pulled it a little bit too early, but I used my ultimate to go revive a character there, and it took the aggro off of my character, so I would recommend saving that to 2 bars or even the 3 bars, but yeah, overall, it's not too bad of a positioning type fight because you can usually have it focus on one of your teammates during this fusing form, and I find it not too bad because it'll stay in place, and other than the rushing attack that you just have to avoid. So just get yourself in a good position. If you're the one taking the aggro, it does attack slow and controlled, so you can really pay attention if you watch the legs. But that is how to take down Sentient Pest or Gnoster Wisdom of the Night Elden Ring Nightreign. If this video was useful, please hit the subscribe button below.